Have you ever heard about AI skills which you can use with Claude Code for your own specific goals? Do you know what is that anyway? Today we are going to discover it. Agent skills are modular capabilities that extend Claude functionality. Each skill package instructs metadata and optional resources that Claude uses automatically with relevant tasks. Why even use these skills? Skills are reusable file system-based resources that provide Claude with domain-specific expertise, workflow context, and best practices. In other words, that's the skill which you are going to use for exactly your needs. Let's say your company is used web scraper to parse some web pages and you need to give exact instructions how to parse them. So you can create a skill where you describe step by step what and how you need to parse, and in that way Claude Code will take it and use automatically. And we can take a look at a picture of how to configure it. And actually we have agent configuration, core system prompt, and then we have equip skills, which we have by default in Claude Code is like to work with docx documents, PDFs, PPTX, and etc. Also MCP servers come alone, and all of that are mixed and used inside the prom in order to provide you the most efficient results. And what I want to say is also main benefit advertised is reducing repetition. So you don't need to write the same prompt all over again when you start a new task. You create a skill once and the AI uses it automatically. This is true, but larger benefit is consistency. It provides the same results over and over again. If your company needs a standard format of report, specific steps needs to be performed, or approved style of presentation, then this is the way you go. You just create skill once and then reuse it. And next time someone asks the AI for a report, it builds exactly as it's supposed to build. But writing a good skills is the skill itself. I would say it would never stop developing, as after a first iteration you need to work on it consistently and improve time after time. If you see some spots for improvements, just use it and update it. Today we are going to try to build Playwright automation framework skills for our use. As you might know, I work as QA engineer, and from daily basis we are covering a lot of UI stuff with Playwright, and today we are going to try and see the differences between default behavior of Claude Code and with skilled one. Meanwhile, I want to show you that Anthropic already has some skills in place. If you go to Anthropic directory for Anthropic GitHub and open skills directory, you can find some skills, and among them is web app testing. So we already have some pre-default stuff. Let's see what's there. First of all, it's skill MD. It's the most important stuff, and here we have description. What is that actually? It's toolkit for interacting with and testing local web application using Playwright. Supports refined front-end functionality, debugging AI behavior, capturing browser snapshots, and etc. So it just describes the way how to test web application. And you need, in this case, we are using Python scripts, and we will be using TypeScript with Playwright later on, but this is a description on how tasks should be performed. And by using these skills, LLM knows exactly how to produce a report for you with exact repetition. And that's how it works. And also, you can describe and suggest improvements to AI. For example, don't inspect DOM before waiting for network idle. It means it doesn't make sense to inspect DOM elements while page is still loading. Seems reasonable, right? Yeah, I totally agree with you. Now, let's open Wiki homepage. We just want to open Wikipedia, and let's say we want to implement one basic scenario for searching. And let me switch to our code. And right now let's launch Claude Code and see which, yes, trust this author. And how do I log an error? Let's see which skills do we have by default. As I said before, there are already some skills, and as you can see, we have Ralph and PRD skills only. And this is our default skills, which we added to user directory. I want to mention one more thing, is actually where you can store those skills. First of all, you can have a personal skills which apply to all your projects. It should go to your root home directory in that Claude folder under skills. If you want project specific skill, you need to create in the root project folder Claude skills and name of your skill and skill itself. Also, you can use it as a plugin, and it will be enabled where this plugin is enabled. That's basically it. And now let's try to ask actually Claude Code to implement search scenario for Wikipedia homepage. I am using a Whisper Flow. This is a tool which converts voice to text. You can see a Whisper Flow tool, and you just say what you want and it transfers to the text. It helps quickly write text. For example, let's cover Wikipedia homepage with one scenario where we search for some default article and verify that article exists. Let's use Playwright framework. Playwright framework, that's it. And let's see. Invalid API key. Okay, I need to log in, and I'm back after logged in. Let's copy again our prompt and let's inject it. Let's see what we will get. Alright, we are done. Let's have a look what is happening here actually. And first let's have a look on output. So after we fire in our command and some action started. First of all, we needed to install packages in order to run the tests and create the test. So install Playwright test. Next, install Chromium browser. Right, makes sense. Now let's create Playwright configuration test file. So configuration were created. And here we can see base URL, which is correct, some timeouts, test directory, so it looks alright, project only one, Chromium. Let's have a further look. And then we also have some tests. And tests are located here, Wikipedia specs. So search for an article and verify it exists. Search input, field Playwright, click network idle to have title Playwright and to have URL in wikipedia.org. And that was it. Let's run the test to verify that it actually passes, because who knows without skills. Okay, npm run tests. We have one scenario which is what we asked, and it passed. So, you know what? We can do better. We can teach Claude Code how to write a better code for us, for our organization needs. And for that, we are going to create a skill. Well, let's start over. First of all, this is empty project, which I called with skills, and we are starting from launching actually our Claude Code again. And now it's time to create a skill. I would use Claude Code to create skill for us, and I'm going to tell the text which I prepared and which I think will suit us the best in order to write more efficient tests. Let's go. I want you to create a new skill for Playwright tests. We are going to use Playwright test framework, and here is requirements. Check if Playwright MCP server is available. If not, inform the user and install it. Check if Playwright is installed in the project. If not, install it to the project root directory and create a configuration where we need to run only one Chrome browser with screenshot. In case of failure, always headless false locally. Use Playwright MCP server to browse, debug, explore the task. When user asks to automate scenario, make sure requirements are clear, which site and what exactly need to be automated. Store tests in project root directory folder tests. Always use page object for page and store them in /pages. We should have basic page with reusable methods. Always use components for usable components on several pages like header, footer, pop-ups, menus, and store them in /components. We should have basic component with reusable methods. Never have assertions inside page objects, always in a spec file. Never use the raw selectors in story files. Always create selectors in page object and reuse it in a test. Configure framework to take a screenshot in case of failure. Make sure scenarios are isolated, independent, short, clear, and focused on one thing at a time. Always verify that created scenarios are passing. Always create test file from project root directory. Make sure that MCP Playwright server is running and make sure you are using it for your needs. That was a clear. Oh my god. And let's try to paste it. Control Command V. Alright, and let's fire the command. Here we can see an instruction. I want to create a new skill for Playwright test. We are going to use Playwright test framework, and here is the requirement. Check if the Playwright MCP server is available. If not, inform the user and install it. Check if Playwright. Alright, do you want me to create? Allow reading. No. Create skills only for this project. I want to have skills only for this project for now. Meanwhile it is creating, I can show you already existing Playwright skills. So there is a repo Playwright skills, and here you can have a quick look how folks are actually building Playwright skills for Claude code. And this enables Claude to write and execute any Playwright automation on the fly. It has some features like any automation task, visible browser by default, this easy to achieve, zero module resolution errors, and I want to show you what he got at the end. So skills, Playwright skill, and the most important file is skill.md. And here you can see the description, Playwright skill, complete browser automation with Playwright, after the text dev servers, write clean test reports to temp folder, pass resolutions, we have installation path suggestion, and browser automation itself. It has some default behavior. For example, we want to find existing dev server at the beginning and then only run the test. Here you can see other packages and references. For example, you can see ready package JSON with some predefined commands as setup, install all browsers. You can see run command, which will be used to run actually this skill. And verify Playwright is installed. If no, install the Playwright, and the rest. I will leave a link and you can check it out. But for now, we want to have our personal server, and for that, let's create folder skills. Yes. And finally, let's create Playwright MD. skills, Playwright, MD. Now let's have a look at it. Metadata, name, yes. We also have some readme by default. This directory contains custom Claude called skills. Alright, it's just general info. We have available skills: Playwright test automation, comprehensive skill for creating and managing Playwright end-to-end tests. I want to look at skill itself. So, metadata, Playwright, automate end-to-end testing with Playwright framework using page object pattern and MCP server integration. Right. Playwright test, create end-to-end scenario, automate scenario test with Playwright. You're a Playwright test automation expert, follow this step and best practices. First, check if Playwright MCP server is available. Right, makes sense. If not available, install it. Alright, ensure MCP server is running before proceeding. Check if package.json exists. If not, install. Alright, create Playwright configuration. Headless false for local development. And screenshot enabled. Here is example of configuration to be created. Directory structure, specs, pages, components. As we said, critical, always use MCP server as a debug tool. Before writing any test, use MCP server to navigate to the target, explore the AI. Also super clear. And should be tested which URL, what user flow, what is expected outcome, are there any prerequisites, and etc. Use ask user question tool if requirements are unclear. Page objects, pages, create one page, use classes, store locators, and use page locator for all element selection. And that's how it should look like, and I like it. Also, it's just clear and reusable. Next, component pattern. If we have some reusable components, we should use it. And it also looks alright. Finally, test itself. Never use raw selectors in test files. Import and use page objects and components. So all of these instructions are actually make sense and looks good to me, and that's how proper test should look like. It easy readable and easy supportable. And this is best practices checklist to make sure to complete. Finally, verified tests are passing. And common comments, just describing some comments. Anti-pattern, raw selectors, assertion page object, long test, yes, test dependent, no, hard-coded waits, no, creating tests without using MCP server. Success criteria, also clear. So now what do you want me to do? Searching for one pattern. Let's have a look what is happening here. The skill will guide you through the entire process of setting up and creating Playwright tests. Now, let's get back to our first iteration and let's copy the same task. And let's paste it and see the differences. Oh no, wait, before we are proceeding, let's make sure that we actually have the skills. Right, because it could be that it's not recognizable, and I see it's not recognizable. Let's exit. And let's log in again. I hope this time we can see some skills. No, actually it proposed wrong solution at the beginning. But now, let's try again. Skills. However, I noticed that skill is not showing up in the system reminder. And it wants to adjust it. Yes, because it used wrong format for the skill. And well, that's why we are here to learn. It should be formatted differently. Now, let's make sure that skills are there. Project skill Playwright. Finally. So we have 30 description tokens. Now let's fire our command. Let me copy it quickly and insert here. And let's see the differences. Alright, we have first question. Which article should we search on Wikipedia? Yeah, let's search for JavaScript. What we want to check? Article is visible. Article title is visible. Content exists. So, as you can see, it is far more specific. Submit answers. And we can see final results. And here let's have a brief description. I have successfully created Playwright test for Wikipedia homepage. Following structure: Playwright, package test, pages, specs, and components. Navigate to Wikipedia homepage, search for article, verify article title, content, first paragraph is visible, page object model, no row selectors, all certain spec files, screenshot and failure. But actually what it failed is to use Playwright MCP server, because I didn't see why it's not used. And let me open configuration again. Here we can see base URL, which is right. I want to check headless false. Makes sense. Now let's have a look at our test. And here you can see the difference. This is how it looked like with our instruction. And this is how it looked like with default behavior. Can you see the differences? How improve we our test with reusable elements, with easy reading, and it's just what we are looking for. Yes, there are still leftovers. For example, MCP server is still not used, but I want to have a next video about MCP, Playwright MCP server, because apparently there are some issues with it, especially in token usage. It explodes and it just eats all your tokens. Let's improve Playwright skills with additional requirement. Always use clear selectors with Playwright style. Try to reuse Playwright best practices for selectors and never have very long selectors. Always make it as efficient as possible. And here we can see right suggestion, get by role, get by label. It does make sense. And this is good test ID. This is also. So I do like this approach. Yes. It should be much better. Yes. As you can see, anti-patterns also updated. Long, fragile CSS selectors, express selectors, position-based selectors, overly specified selectors. It all makes sense, and I would agree with that. And so just iteration over iteration, you are going to end up with perfect skill exactly for your needs, for your company needs. And yeah, it just would benefit you a lot. Now let's ask rewrite page objects according to new selectors guideline. What is passing right now? Are you sure? Let me verify. npm run test. Wait a second. npx Playwright test. Let's verify it on our own. And it is. Alright, it is. And let's see on updated version. So previously we had ugly selectors and we asked to update it, and now we should have better version. Get by role, that's a recommended way. Locator, okay, ID, fine. It was updated because previously it was super ugly, and homepage also looks much better. Fine, my final words. As you can see, building skills, it requires some skills as well from you, but I would say that you can accomplish that pretty easy. Just give it some time, start with some basic template and then improve it slowly, one by one iteration. As soon as you spot some improvements, Just go to Claude, ask to update as a skill, and in the end, after 5-6 iterations, you will have a perfect tool for your use. See you next time.